Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. So in today's video, I am going to be doing a reaction video. Now this is something a lot more serious, and this is a video for awareness because there is a lot of gender-based violence going on in South Africa right now, and I think it's very important for us to just almost bring to the attention of people what's actually happening and what actually happens behind closed doors, and almost kind of give you the strength to do and almost empower you to do what you feel is right at the end of the day by hearing other people's stories. So I won't be doing my makeup in this video. As you guys can tell, I already have my makeup done, but yeah, let's read some of the abusive manipulative relationships that people have been in previously. I just want to thank everybody beforehand for sharing you guys' story with me. You guys are so strong for doing so, and let's hope that it helps someone out there. So let's get into it. The first one is, I was in an abusive relationship. He was manipulative, physically and mentally abusive, and also used me for money. This is actually quite sad because you would never think that men would go to the extent of using women for money, but I think it happens amongst men who don't have money and who want to feel powerful with money, but yeah, they end up using you, and that kind of sucks. And I'm really sorry that it got to an abusive point, because it should never get there at all, you know. Okay, somebody else said, been living with foster parents since I was a 3-month-old baby. Biological parents used to spend weekends with me. Then when I was 12, they left, still living with foster parents, and she never fails to remind me on the daily that I am boarding and lodging for free and will always be a third person's child. Also, how much she regrets taking me. Even with my past failed attempts, I'm sure you mean suicide. She tells me I would have been better off dead, but I have this amazing soul of a person in my life for 4 years, and even though it's long distance relationship, he makes every day worth living. This is so sad, you know, that people have to go through this. And I just want to remind you guys that majority of these stories may be, it actually gave me like the chills, majority of the stories may be how do I explain it, maybe relationship based, but your relationship is different. Like you can have a relationship with your parents, your siblings, your foster parents, your partner, whatever the case maybe is. So trauma can happen and abuse can happen regardless of what relationship it is. I'm really sorry that your foster mom is doing this to you. It makes me so sad because there are people out there who cannot have kids, and she had the opportunity to raise a child that wasn't her own, which for me is one of God's greatest blessings, being able to look at a child and not even thinking what race that child is or what that child's background is, what they look like, whether they look like you or not, whatever the case may be, is to be able to take care of a child is such a big blessing. And I don't understand how your foster mom would just say such hurtful things. I'm really sorry you have to go through that. That's not fair at all. That's not okay what she's doing to you, and I really hope that everything gets better, you know. Wanting to commit suicide is one thing, but actually doing it and having failed attempts is a complete other thing. But I want you to realize that through your failed attempts, that God has ensured you have not succeeded for a purpose. He has made sure that you did not succeed in that for a reason. So have faith, and yeah, it's kind of sad. It makes me really sad. But God is good. God is always good, and just have faith that your life is going to get way better. It may be difficult right now, but it's going to get better in future. Somebody else said, I had a friend who didn't allow me to have any other friends and didn't allow me to talk to other friends. Toxic thing. Not necessarily a boyfriend girlfriend thing. It's a friendship thing also. You know, I am the kind of person where I only, if you're my friend and you have the opportunity for me to call you my friend, I need you to know that there's no one else you're going to ever have to compete with for that. But sometimes people are very possessive of their people. I'm not possessive. Like, if you want to be friends with however many people, yeah. But I need you to know that my loyalty lies with you, you know? Um, but just to take it to a point where it becomes manipulative and abusive, it's not okay. She didn't say much otherwise, but it's not okay to have a friend who doesn't allow you to have other friends. Like, why don't they want you to have other friends? Okay, so the next one is, I had a boyfriend who was cheating on me the entire relationship. He lied about breaking up with his ex-girlfriend. So I actually was the side chick and I didn't even know. One day, I asked to see his phone and he broke it, twisted my arm and told me not to touch his things. He would also force me to have sex with him and say it's okay because we're going to get married, knowing full and well I'm the side chick and knowing full and well that I'm a virgin. How rude. I just thank God I was strong enough to say no. That's when he started acting up and showing his true colors. So glad I saved myself from losing my purity. I am so glad that you were able to walk away from that unscathed, but there are a lot of women out there who unfortunately have lost their purity, and I don't think we should look down upon those women. I think men lie and men sell you dreams, and if he could maintain a full-on relationship and then still go on to maintain a full-on relationship with his side chick and not even skip a beat, men are capable of a lot of sinister, shitty things. And I just want to say to the girl out there who's being caught up in the situation and you haven't been strong enough to say no. I just want you to know that regardless of whatever's happened in your past, it does not define you and it does not define your future. You know, I think a lot of the time women stick and stay because they think, oh yeah, this is the person that was my first. If a person's not treating you right, it doesn't matter whether he was your first or your fifth or your eighth, you need to let him go. You know, we serve a wonderful living God, whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in the universe and the power of the universe. And God will never punish you for something that you never intentionally did. You know, if anything, men have that bad karma on their hands for using a woman without the intention of marrying her at the end of the day. I hope that's making sense. But I think we as women need to stop being so hard on ourselves when those things happen too. And, you know, things are changing. Times are changing. And if you want to save yourself, you want to save your purity, that is totally your choice. But I want the girls out there who've been stuck in this situation or fell for the stupid tricks or believe that this was the person they were marrying. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you, my babe. It doesn't make you worthless. And I'm just glad you got out of this. The moment a man raises his hand to you or even twists your arm, if he can twist your arm, what more can he do to you? That's my thing. It's always the small abusive things that lead to bigger things. So I really hope that I'm covering both bases, from women who have been strong enough to say no and women who have been in the situation where they have lost something. I really hope you guys are not harsh on yourselves, because unfortunately men are shitty and men lie and they make you believe that you are the person that they're going to marry, and they lie and they cheat and it sucks. But no one should ever have to tolerate that kind of behavior, that shady behavior. Oh, hell no. Okay. Hit me in front of my friends and then dumped me last year for no reason. Now vibing with his female BFF. Now here's the thing that's scary. It's one thing for a man to hit you behind closed doors. It's another thing for him to hit you in front of friends. In front of your friends. In front of your friends. He had the audacity to hit you in front of your friends. It was his friends. It's a different story, okay? Because it's just, I thought maybe he was trying to show a sign of masculinity. But if he is trying to, I don't know what he's trying to do in front of your friends, but girl, you are better off. He's not your problem anymore. his female BFF's problem. Amen. Good riddance. We do not need men like this in our lives. Men who raise their hands to women. I'm sorry, but are you really a man? Because I'm gonna need to show some proof. Real men don't hit women. Y'all need to grow the F up. But you know what? At the same time, let us not be unrealistic, okay? Sometimes men have temper problems, you know? And at the end of the day, if a man does it once, okay, behind closed doors when you guys get in a very heated argument, depending on how forgiving you are, okay. If it does it twice, I'm sorry. That's one too many times. Let us be realistic here, because even women can tend to lose their temper, and apparently I've heard a lot of women being abusive to men. So let's also not pretend like women are perfect, because there are also some really messed up women out there that hit men. And let me tell you something, hitting from both ends of the spectrum is not okay, but maybe a woman may lose her temper also, and may slap a man for something he may have done. So it goes both ways. At the end of the day, if you guys know that you love each other and it was just a once off, that's fine. However, I think you need to draw the line when they hit you in public, in front of other people. Because now you have witnesses to that bullshit. And that's no longer between you and him. Now he's bringing other people into it. I'm just trying to be realistic here. People are human. People lose their tempers. I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, no man living this earth has probably ever not hit a woman in a fit of rage. I'm sure it's happened. And I'm sure once they realize what they've done, and once they regret it, they're like, I'm not going to do that again. And it probably never happens again. But the fact of the matter is, it takes two to tango. Sometimes women can say shitty things to men. Sometimes men can say shitty things to women. Both of them can lose their temper and hit one another. Let's not only make this about a man being abusive, because women are out here being abusive too, and it's not fair. Okay. I was once with a boy that cheated on me multiple times. When I found out, he'd say, oh, I'm such an ass, you deserve better. Whenever I wanted to leave, this boy would make himself vomit for me, to feel sorry for him, to guilt me into staying, or he's going to get sick. The first time he did that, I stayed, and guess what, girl? He went back to his bullshit, and now I'm out and living my best life. Honestly, I am so happy that you are out living your best life. You guys need to also realize that even though there may not be men who physically hit, there are men who manipulate. Trust me, I've been there. They will make a situation such that you feel like you're to blame, that it's your fault that they are in such a situation. And let me tell you something. Nothing is your fault. Whatever a man is going through has got absolutely nothing to do with you. If he had problems before you guys met and he's making it your problem, that's not your problem, sweetie. It's not your problem. And I wish somebody would have told me this a long time ago, because I went through a whole situationship of on and off, talking to me, not talking to me, until I realized this man is manipulating me. Oh, hell no. Manipulate is one side. That is disgusting. Okay, we have another one. I used to have perfect teeth, but my ex didn't seem to like them very much, so he rearranged them, and stupidly I stuck with him for years as he emotionally and financially and physically abused me. I crept out the window one night and ran away. Changed my number, car, and job so that he couldn't find me. My babe, I really hope you are happier now and you're in a better space. Unfortunately, things like this, they do end up shaping you into the person that you are now. However, you guys, I do want to say, don't ever stick out with something that doesn't feel right, you know? As Indian women, we're taught to stick and stay. Stick and stay, you know, stick and stay. And again, sometimes when you are in a physical relationship with someone, what tends to happen is you always have at the back of your mind, oh no, you know, we're supposed to save ourselves for marriage, this, that. So you stick and stay because you know this is the first partner you've ever been with. And I think that's wrong, because how many people have died at the hands of the men that they have first been with? just for the sake of the fact that that is the first man they've been with. So they feel like they need to stick and stay and compensate to be with that man. Not even compensate. They feel like they have to settle. You don't have to settle, my babe. Life happens. Life happens. And I don't think any woman should ever have to go through what you guys are going through, you know? And that's when I say, for those of you who are very big on purity and you're very big on keeping yourself pure for marriage, sometimes life doesn't work out like that. And I never want you guys to feel like just because that was your first partner, you have to stick and stay with them. Just for the sake of you saving yourself till marriage. Let me tell you something. No abusive relationship is ever worth questioning your worth over. None. Absolutely no relationship. And I'm so glad you got out, my babes. Also, one thing that I find is very toxic is the fact that he didn't like your teeth. He didn't like how perfect your teeth was. That's a number one red flag. I want you guys to actually just take cognizance of this. If a man is toxic, anything perfect about you will be a problem for him. Whereas if a man is good and he's great, he will like things about you. Oh, your teeth is so perfect. I like my kids to have perfect teeth like that. He wouldn't want to rearrange them. He wouldn't want to hurt you. He wouldn't want to put you in a position like that. Real men that love you don't hurt you. I cannot comprehend how men that hurt women say, but I love this woman. How do you love her when you're hurting her? How do you love her when you are hurting her? It just, make it make sense. Make it make sense for me. I was only 16. Everyone thought we were the it couple, but no one knew he was controlling and abusive. Let me tell you something, guys. Behind closed doors, a lot of things happen. And if there's anything I want you ladies to take away from this video, is that regardless of what happens behind closed doors, I want you guys to be strong enough to walk away from situations that you know are not good for you. And that you know you're not sticking and staying. Anytime you have to say to yourself at the back of your mind, oh, let me just stick and stay, you know, maybe he'll change. Anytime you have to say that, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to walk. It's time for you to create your own path in life and find a man for you who's going to treat you like the most precious thing on this earth. Because let me tell you something, there are men out there that are like that. There are men that are like that. That are amazing, that are wonderful. You just gotta wait and be patient for them. Okay, I'm gonna go into the DMs. Okay, so this one says, hi Sanesh, I'm going to DM you about my abusive and manipulative relationship because it's too long to reply in a sticker. So where do I even begin? I've known of this guy for more than 10 years. I met him when I was 15 and I had the biggest crush on him. Anyway, time passed and at the end of 2016 we kind of started talking again. It was so damn sweet. Well, the act always is. I was in Durban for holiday and he came down just to see me. We both are from Joburg. So by Jan we started to date, but my family simply couldn't stand him for reasons I totally understand now. He would always feed me bad ideas about my family, always that they make me do things because I live with them and that they do things for me. But that wasn't the case because I love my family and I do anything for them. But I guess I was naive and started to actually believe what he was telling me. I had to move out, which I didn't have anything. Keeping in mind, I just started working. But he was so supportive and said all the right things. I cried the day I left home because I was so scared of the unknown and my family never spoke to me for about 2 months. And the next year was just a total downfall. The first abusive experience I remember so clearly. We went out for supper and I went to the bathroom and I got a text from my ex and my phone was on the table. He drove us home so furious. He broke my hand chain and he was just yelling at this point, but I could tell he was angry and it really scared me. When we got to his house, he took a hammer and a watch that I'd gotten him and he then dragged me into the house. He was way bigger than me and fit. And then the beating started. I remember being in the floor and him kicking me to the point that I couldn't breathe. I remember crying and telling him to take me to the hospital because I was gasping for air. I even passed out for a few seconds because of the trauma. The next day, I assume you said your head was swollen and you had blue eyes. But I always went back because he always cried and said he loved me and it wouldn't happen again. I might get emotional with this. I can't remember a time when I didn't have blue marks I needed to cover. But because I was so used to it that I didn't think much of it, it was normal for me. The time I finally cut all ties with him was when we had to attend a function and I was late and he wasn't answering his phone. I messaged him telling him I'll meet him at the function, but he was like, no, I need to iron his clothes and stuff. And I got upset because he was soaked with a short and t-shirt and was pissed out of his mind. I'm sure you meant drunk. We had this full-on fight and he bust my nose. Keep in mind my niece was at home and she saw the blood and was crying. And to me that made me realize I don't want this. I can't make my children go through this. What kind of a life would I live? Always afraid. Always being forced to say yes to someone even though I don't want to. And for that I'm ever so grateful because he went away and I found out so much about him I never knew. He pretended to be this perfect person when in fact this was the kind of person he always was. I realized I never knew much about him because he always put on a facade. There is so much to my story, but that's all for now. I've never shared this with anyone except my sister and best friend. They just know the last incident. But I feel that it's going to save someone from being stuck in a bad relationship that needs to be heard. That it needs to be heard. Oh my gosh. That's another thing, you know. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It was painful to read. I don't understand how men do that. I don't understand how someone can say they love you and beg you to stay when they're constantly abusing you. It just doesn't, someone make it make sense. Make it make sense. It's like they want to manipulate you. They want to be in control over you, but they don't know how to speak to you without speaking to you with their hands. The fact that you even like passed I'm really sorry you had to go through that, my babe. That is trauma enough for one person, and I really hope that this inspires people to leave their difficult situations. I really, really hope that it does. Okay, we have another DM. Hey girl, so there was this guy that I dated for about 2 years, and honestly, I don't even understand why I stayed that long. I was young and naive, I guess, but this guy literally pointed out every single insecurity I had. There was a day when we were going out on a date, he mentioned that his friends might be at the mall, that I need to wear makeup to cover my acne because I can't embarrass him. Trash. There were many occasions where I would be eating or drinking something and he would have the audacity to tell me, that's why my face is so bad. He would always make me extremely uncomfortable by making rude or inappropriate comments around his friends. Even worse, the guy was cheating the whole time and his friends knew but decided they weren't going to tell me. He told the girl he was cheating with that I wasn't his type because I was too skinny and that he liked thick girls. He was definitely emotionally abusive and could never admit he was wrong or apologize. Even after we broke up, he would show up at campus and ask if we could meet up. He acted as if he hadn't done anything wrong, but honestly, I'm so glad it's over. I feel like the hardest part of abuse is the verbal abuse. Because you can hit me, like, okay, let's not say hit, because if you hit me, I will remember the trauma of that. You can stab me, and that wound will heal. I'll forget the pain. But the words that you say to someone rings in their ears over and over again. The way you look at someone when you're kicking them. The way you scream. The way you look at someone the way someone looks at you when they're kicking you. You remember all those things. It's like flashbacks, I can only imagine. just seeing their faces and seeing rage in their faces of doing these hurtful things, like hitting you or saying mean things to you. I'm just so glad that you got out of that. 2 years is a long time to deal with somebody who's a shitty human being and who will cheat. Cheat is one side. My experience was with my husband. In the early stages of our relationship, he was so calm and patient with me if we got into an argument or disagreement. But then as time passed, he got more physical. Like, he would push me and things like that if we had a heated argument. And most of the time, it was because he would be drunk and he wouldn't tell me his whereabouts, and naturally that would piss off anyone. So last year Christmas Eve, he goes on a drink binge and comes home extremely drunk. So we got into an argument, and one thing led to the next point, that he was verbally, physically, and mentally abusive to me, all in front of our 3-year-old son. I did not keep quiet at this time. I told my family as well as his, and all his friends know. We're now working through our relationship, but I still have doubts that one day he's going to do it to me again. I just try to be hopeful. It was very traumatic. It was a very traumatic thing to have lived through, actually, and I never thought that this would happen to me, but it did. Firstly, my babe, I'm so sorry that you have to go through this. I'm really proud of you that you guys are trying to work things through. I think everything deserves a chance. I think maybe your husband has a drinking problem. That's one thing about Indian men that I think is the root of all evil, is their drinking problems. Indian men don't like to talk about what's actually bothering them, and so they drink and they bottle up their feelings, and then they end up hurting the people that are closest to them. Now, I'm not making excuses, but I know for a fact that Indian men don't know how to deal with their emotions. You know, like, I've been on the receiving end of it one too many times for me to admit. But you know, I'm really, really sorry this had to happen to you in front of your child. And I really hope that you guys can work through this. I hope that he can work through these problems, and I hope that he can communicate what's going wrong with him, what he's feeling, instead of feeling alone and then drinking his sorrows away, because that's not a good life for anyone to live. And Indian men, like I said, have a tendency of just relying on alcohol and being very abusive, and I think we need to stop that shit. It's 2021. You cannot be relying on alcohol to fix your problems. It doesn't work like that. Or to make your problems go away. It doesn't work like that. Okay. I was 16, dating this guy that didn't allow me to talk to other guys but him, including my cousins. If he saw me talking to a guy, classmates or cousins, he would beat me till I was bleeding. Every time I tried to leave, he threatened to kill me and kill himself, so I was always afraid to leave him. So 2014 was my first year of uni. We traveled to campus together, so one morning my current boyfriend greeted me and came in for a hug. My ex saw that and slapped me in front of everyone. So my current boyfriend saw that, and there was a big fight. Eventually I built up the courage to just walk out of the relationship because of my current boyfriend, and now we're together for almost 7 years. I love knight in shining armors. I love knight in shining armors who rescue the girl who's going through shit, and whose man is not treating her right. Clearly, it's as clear as day. I'm so happy that there is an ending to your story, a happy ending to your story. I think it's so amazing that you were able to walk away, and I think having that empowerment there is just such a beautiful thing. And that's why I also feel like it's very important to have a family that supports you, because it allows you to walk away. And that's also the reason why I wanted to do this video, because I don't want anybody to feel victimized by the stories here or by things that are being said. I want you guys to realize that shit happens and mistakes happen, but you should never ever settle for somebody who's abusive and who manipulates you and who physically, emotionally, financially abuses you. You do not deserve that. And I really hope that we can be that for girls who don't have a support system, who don't have another guy in their life telling them that this is wrong and fighting for them. So that is such a beautiful story. That's honestly, what an amazing way to end off this video. I just want to reiterate, you guys, that I don't want anybody to ever feel like they have to stick into a relationship because of the fact that you're being manipulated to stay. Talk to your family. Ask for help. I know Indian families can be very difficult sometimes, but talk to somebody who you trust. whether it's your friends. I think it's so important to have support systems, and this is also why I feel like Indian people are so wrong in so many ways, because when a woman is unhappy in their marriage, they say, no, stick and stay, you know, you'll change. And then next thing you know, women are losing their lives at the hands of these men that your family insisted would change. It's sad. I don't know how many stories there are out there that didn't end up as well as these ones did, and I'm really happy that majority of you were able to walk out of these relationships that were manipulative and not good for you. And I hope that this inspires somebody out there to walk away from something that is not good for you. It's painful to hear these stories. It really, really is. But again, this video is purely for awareness, and I think it's super important for us to just make sure that we are being aware and that we are eyes wide open right now, knowing that this is not normal. Being hit, being physically abused is not normal at all. I also hope that we as women, if you are a woman out there abusing your spouse, hitting, please know that hitting both ways is not okay for me, you know. It's not okay in a relationship that's supposed to be loving. You can't hit somebody and say, but it's because I love you that I'm doing this. It does not make sense. It does not make sense to me, you know. So that is it for this video. I really hope that it has empowered somebody out there that is struggling to make a decision in their life. I really hope that we have all learned something. I also hope that all of us realize that everything is not so hunky-dory behind closed doors. And I hope that we can all forgive ourselves, because I think we as women are so hard on ourselves for tolerating things, you know. Even me, like, I've been so hard on myself for the last couple of years. Like, why do I tolerate bullshit when I know I deserve better? Why do I do that? You know, we're so hard on ourselves. Be gentle with yourself. You've gone through a lot as a person, as a human, as a woman. Being a woman in general is hard. We know how hard it is to be adults. We know how hard it is to be functioning human beings. Be kind to yourself. Okay, guys, that is it for this video. I'm sending love and light to all the GBV survivors out there. Gender-based violence is not a joke. There are a lot of people who have survived, and it's really, really sad that there are so many stories to tell and that remain untold. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to slay all day, every day, with and without makeup. Don't forget to walk away from anything that does not feel good to you. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.